Today we're going to make another podcast for Arachnos. It's about SUWANU and the benefits of a thematic network from a partner's point of view. I'm sitting at the table with Noemi Izet from the Research Station for Vegetable Production. She's a researcher here and it's her first podcast, I think.
Yes, indeed. Hello.
So, and I'm Robbie. I'm a bit of a project manager, communication guy, also at the Research Station for Vegetable Production. So, Noemi, being part of a thematic network, I can imagine it's kind of a work hard, play hard attitude. I mean, at first you have to put in a lot of effort, but I can imagine that in the end the hard work also pays off. So tell us a little bit more about the SUWANU project and how you got involved in this thematic network.
Yes, so the SUWANU Euro project is a thematic network about the use of reclaimed water for agricultural irrigation. For myself, my experience, I wasn't in the initial phase of the proposal phase, but I know from my colleagues, from my colleague especially Els, which was involved in other thematic network. She coordinated the Fertinoa thematic network, and so on. She got involved and in contact with other European stakeholders and organizations, and so we got involved into the SUWANU Euro project. So yeah, that's the broad thematic. I don't know if I need to go further on. So we have basically 8 target regions within the SUWANU Euro project, and we are coordinating a bit activities in the location of Flanders in Belgium, where we elaborate the tasks and contribute to the common reports and databases and action plans at European level from our region's point of view.
Okay, very nice. For anyone who's listening, we also made a podcast about Fertinoa with Els. I think it's also somewhere in the Spotify playlist, you have to search for it. But back to the SUWANU network, SUWANU project, sorry. What was the most difficult part when you started the SUWANU project? Or was it when it went like a breeze maybe?
I won't say there were like hard difficulties. I would maybe think like since we are 20 partners all over Europe, in the beginning it's maybe more having a structure and the communication, and also because the region are very different. For instance, in Flanders it's a very new practice. It's barely done and the idea is still ripening or getting on the table, while in Southern European countries it is a practice which is already put in place in several years, and that's also the interesting part, to have that exchange of knowledge. But that's also when you need to realize certain reports, since you have different practices in different countries. That's maybe something that at the beginning you realize that you're in a very different context. But overall, I think also, now it's cancelled, but in the beginning you have some consortium meetings, and that's very interesting also to get closer to the partners with who you're working with. So that's useful, especially those first meetings, because the last ones were cancelled. But that really helps to form a more team together, to work together. Yeah.
But I can imagine that all that hard work paid off and you slowly started to discover all the benefits. So which benefits struck you the most?
I think for us, the biggest benefit of being in the SUWANU Europe project was really to put that thematic on the table in Flanders. It was already, I think, in the mind of some actors, or some farmers used it very occasionally. Reclaimed water for agriculture in times of drought in Flanders in 2017, 18 and also 19. But it was not really on a structural way. They didn't really yet thought about treatments and on the longer term what to do with this water source. So from that point of view, this network created for us an environment to really put that subject on the table, also talk with all different actors about that thematic and have a vision about that water source in Flanders. Another benefit from our organization of being part of the SUWANU Europe project is being able to gather knowledge about this practice, about using reclaimed water for agricultural irrigation. So as I mentioned, in Flanders it's something very new, but most of the partners are from Southern European countries. Spain, Cyprus, Israel are all countries, or there are some regions in those countries where it is a more common practice. So for us it's also a good example to see how it is implemented in those countries, to consider and take lessons from those places and information.
So the multi-actor approach is really a big thing in thematic networks. So how important was that for you?
Yes, indeed. So the multi-actor approach is really something central, I think, in most of the thematic network and as well in SUWANU Europe. As I mentioned, we have like 8 target regions within the project, and in each target region we started a regional working group where we really gather many stakeholders which are relevant to the topic or to make improvements or a vision about the use of reclaimed water in agriculture. And so we did in Flanders. So for our regional working group we have gathered governmental agencies like the environmental Flemish agency, also from the agricultural side there are actors, farmer organizations, operator of wastewater treatment plants, companies which deliver water treatment technologies, but also stakeholders from a scientific background. So together it delivers very interesting discussions to also put some steps forward and to study what is the potential of this reclaimed water source for irrigation, and also what are the actions or the steps that we have to put forward to take decisions, and looking towards a possible implementations. So that's how that multi-actor approach concept really comes into the SUWANU Europe project.
So does being part of a thematic network as SUWANU gives you a certain advantage for future projects?
Yes, certainly. First of all, it enabled us to extend our knowledge about that thematic, and as we coordinated those regional working groups, we also got more in contact with all those stakeholders about that specific thematic. We discussed many things, and that also created an environment to write other projects in order to maybe have answers on certain knowledge gaps, or to see how it could be implemented in specific farming systems here in Flanders. So last year we wrote, and we also could start an operational group which is called AWARE, and in AWARE we look more at local and concrete cases, how we could implement that reclaimed water for agricultural irrigation. Some cases specifically about a greenhouse environment, while another one is on a soil-borne vegetable production, where they last year they grew fennel. And a few months ago we also wrote another project which is called SAVE, and there we want to look more into everything which is micropollutants and nutrients, and what is present in that reclaimed water, and what is the impact on the soil, the water and the crops, to have a better look in that aspect. So this definitely it helped us to be more active with that topic, and also to have other follow-up projects in Flanders regarding reclaimed water for agricultural irrigation.
So in a nutshell, the benefits of the thematic network, they give you more knowledge, they give you a network. They give you the chance to put a certain topic on the map and a lot of important actors around the table. They give you good opportunities for future projects and to make them concrete in a very quick way.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe?
I think you got it.
That's in a nutshell.
Yeah.
The benefits of the thematic network from a partner's point of view. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much, Naomi, for all your
You're
answers to the
welcome.
questions. I hope you had fun. And I might see you next time for the next podcast. Thank you very much.
Yeah, bye.
The Arachnis project has received funding from the European Union's Horizon 2020 Research and Innovation Programme under Grant Agreement number 817863.
Royalty-free music from Ben Sound.